Hello, everyone. How are we doing? I'm going to wait for people to come on in. We are live and it's a good time. It is my birthday. I don't think I've ever done a masterclass on my birthday. And so this is going to be a good time. This is going to be a good time. Yes, I'm going to wait for everyone to pop on in. And then we're going to get started. And this will be recorded and it will be saved so everyone can join at their leisure. And tell a friend to tell a friend. And for those of you who were a part of the ebook, you're going to get that. And so it's going to be a good time. I'm excited. And while we're waiting for people to come on and join in, how do I feel? It's my birthday. It's literally so like today has been so overwhelmingly amazing. It has been so overwhelmingly joyous and joyful. And I'm just excited that everyone is able to join me on this day through being able to talk through, I think, what has been a pretty solid life. And so I'm really excited to share what that journey was and what I've learned on this journey and how everyone can be a part of it, because what I've realized is that God is truly not a person who is very fixated on, he's not like man. He's not fixated on helping certain people and not helping certain people. If there's anything that I've learned in my life, it's that God is not a respecter of man, and it's really about some principles and processes that you have to follow, and you'll just see the results. And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into what we're doing and welcome everyone from YouTube and from LinkedIn. I'm super hyped and super excited to see you all here. And so let's get into it. Built, broken, and blessed, revealing the secrets of my success. And so I'm Yamiche Wilson, and I always like to put this slide here because I want people to understand that I'm not just someone coming to speak to you. And I think you should always test who is coming to speak to you, right? You should always make sure that you know who is actually speaking to you. And so that's why I always put this slide here, because I want you to know the credibility, the experience, the years of work. And that affords me not to speak on everything, but to speak on some things. And those some things are what I'm coming to speak on today. And I truly pray that you are blessed by it. And so, if you stay to the end of revealing the secrets of my success, you'll really get the opportunity to be a part of my giveaway today. It's my birthday and God has given me so much. Like in this day, I'm kind of like just stunned because I've lived very well. Like what I started off as and who I am today is actually mind blowing to me. A lot of times people remind me who I am when they say things to me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I did do that. Or I am that person. Or I am on this feature. Or I am Forbes. Like it's literally something that I don't think it's ever really settled. And so I'm just grateful today. I'm like literally stunned. I feel like a deer in the headlights. And so I pray that this one-on-one session would be a blessing to you, because I love to pour out what God has so freely given to me. And most importantly, for whoever stays to the end, gets the instructions for the giveaway, you'll have a one-on-one 30-minute session with me on career, entrepreneurship, whatever floats your boat. And so it's going to be a good time. Now to the prelude of today. Renewing your mind is a process. I want that to be very, very clear because renewing your mind, even in today's session and all the things I'm going to tell you, it really stands on you being able to understanding the process of renewing your mind. And that process is definitely more than 3 steps, but 3 key steps that I know that you're going to need. And the first one is awareness. You have to be able to name the problem, name the things, even as I'm going through these slides of the 30 lessons. Be able to name the part of your life, the aspect of your life that is not making sense to this. Be able to name it. Number 2, really understand the root cause. The root cause is critical because you never want to be someone who is always chipping at the weeds or at the fruit of pain or even the fruit of good things, right? Because if you're not able to understand where something came from, it's going to be very hard for you to replicate it. And it's also going to be very hard for you to understand how to break it down if you don't want to continue to replicate it, right? And so that is the big, big thing here. And I want us to understand that even in the process of being aware and then moving to a state of going down to the root cause, the next step is repetition. And so if you're anything like me, I love to have declarations. I love to have all these things that I do on a consistent basis. I have a list of to-dos every single day that aren't necessarily career, but they're like mental, social, spiritual focus. And it's because I understand that I have to constantly keep my mind in the consciousness of what I want to be and who I want to become and who I am. And that takes repetition. Like, people who know they're beautiful are most likely the people who've been told they're beautiful for all of their lives, right? And so it's not really a surprise to them because they live in that consciousness. And so sometimes if you were bullied or if people told you you weren't beautiful, you have to constantly put yourself in the state of understanding that you are in a consciousness of being beautiful, because we are actually living out our subconscious lifestyle, our subconscious mind through our life. And so in your subconscious, if you truly believe you're not beautiful, you're actually going to live that out without knowing, and people are going to be able to see it. I see it all the time, trust me. And so when I see it, I literally always try to tell those girls in particular, like, you're really beautiful, like, oh, I really like your hair, or I really like your skin, or like all these things, because I really want them to know that they're beautiful. And so that is a major thing here. And thank you for all the birthday wishes. Welcome everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so now I want us to go into a little bit of a prayer. Not a little bit, a lot of it. Because if you know anything about me, and if you know anything about my life, and if you know anything about what I stand for, if you know anything about what I believe in, then you know that I'm super, 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 super big on my faith. And this, I know there's multiple people here with different faith backgrounds and beliefs, but I just want you to know that listening to me, I cannot separate my faith from who I am. That is who I am. And so listening to me, you're going to get the word of God, and you're going to hear about Jesus Christ, because that is literally my foundation. And I would always question and tell you to question people who tell you to, like, oh, just separate your faith out. No, you can't separate your faith out. It's literally the foundation of who you are. And so you can literally go ahead and tell them that I can't separate who I am from how I live my life or how I am in this job. And literally, if they can't respect that, just know that that's a potential lawsuit in the making. And so I just want to do a little prayer. I just want to do a prayer today that we would be able to really glean from what I'm going to share today. And I feel like even my voice sounds different. I really believe that today I've experienced such a shift in my understanding and how good and faithful God is. And I just want to pray this birthday blessing upon you all as well. I hope that you really receive it. If you do not know Jesus Christ or haven't heard of him, if you go to the link of my in my bio, you can actually read all about the gospel and really learn about the God who saved my life. I'm someone who I was at one point suicidal. I was actually mandated by my university to go into therapy. And if you know anything about universities in America or just in general, most universities do not even know about the students they have, let alone have one-on-one communications, let alone are going to mandate you to be in therapy. But that's how bad it was. And that was in my beginning of my 20s, right? And now in this new decade, I can sit here and truly say to you, Jesus Christ has changed my life. And I pray that this session would be one that would change your life. That it doesn't matter if you're 26, if you're 18, if you're 46, if you're 76, these principles are things that the Lord has taught me that I truly believe will change lives. So let's pray. Father, we ask that you take control and you have your way in this session. We ask that you would bless everyone, every hearer, every viewer, those who are in the car, those who are outside, those who are even at work listening to this. I thank you for each and every one of them, for allowing them to have enough faith in the wisdom that you have given to me and allowing them to set out time to come here. And I pray, Lord, that as I speak and as I share with them, may you prick their heart. May you speak to them at their level and at their point of need. Today, as it is my birthday celebration and a new milestone for me, I pray that this would also be a shared milestone, that they would enjoy the fruits of your goodness, your kindness, and your mercy, and that we would all leave here together better and blessed and having understanding. In Jesus' name, amen. And so let's get into it. Right. So if you know anyone who's not on the call, let them know now that the good stuff has started and we are ready to go. So lesson number 1 of the 30 lessons I'm going to walk through, and I'm going to try to do this as quick as possible. But if you know me, I am not I am not a short person. I'm a very long-winded person, and I love that about myself. And so the first one is everyone needs therapy. Start now. Especially if you are a woman, especially if you are a person of color. And I truly believe everyone needs it, but I'm speaking to those who have the identity markers that I identify with. As a woman, dark skin, Black, if you identify with any of those things, I can 100% guarantee you need therapy. Because therapy is not about mental illness. Therapy is wisdom, it is strategy. Therapy is taking yourself as a business. Many of you understand that every business has counsel, every business has people helping them and guiding them and leading them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And those places or councils that give them strategy, it's not seen as something's wrong with the business. It's seen as, oh, we are going to grow. So let us grow together. And that is how I need you to see yourself. Therapy is going to get your life. It has gotten my life. It has helped me to understand people, understand myself, to take time to decode my life. It has helped me to understand the things that I'm going to teach you today. It has nothing to do with just having a mental illness or you need to go because you're sad or you're depressed. No, I need you to start thinking about yourself as a business. And every business has a board of directors. Every business has strategy meetings. Every business has protocol. And so, why don't you see yourself as that? Having someone who is licensed, has a degree, has taken 4 years plus, I think it's actually 6 years, 6 years plus. Some people have PhDs to help you because they've studied the mind, they've studied trauma, they've studied what it means to be a Black woman in moving around in the world. Why would you not want someone who has dedicated their life to learning all of these things to help you? Next lesson, number 2, you can't build net worth without building self worth. Money follows identity. When I started Black Sisters in STEM, I started it from zeal and from truly a vision that the Lord gave me. But maturity as I built this business is that the business grew when I grew. The business became better when my character was better. Impact was greatly made when I was able to understand that I should even be the CEO. Some of you want to build businesses and you don't even have belief in yourself to be a CEO. You want to build a net worth, but you don't believe you deserve, you have not even thought of ever becoming a millionaire. You've never thought of becoming someone who earns 6 figures. You've never thought of being someone who could go abroad. You never thought of a brand sponsoring you. It wasn't until last year that the Lord broke that off of my mind. I thought I would need some type of following or a level of success for brands to sponsor me and to become a creator and to become someone who would be able to get things for free just so I can make content from it. And literally, the Lord told me just to try. When I tell you last year, in the span of less than a month, I had over 30 brands who sponsored the humanitarian and benevolence tour. And it made me realize how many more brand partnerships could I been had by now if I had thought I was worthy to be a influencer. I just didn't think I was an influencer, even though I was influencing people on a daily basis. But do you see how my lack of self-worth hindered an opportunity, multiple opportunities? Tens of thousands of dollars people gave me for free. I mean, people sponsored wigs, people sponsored my makeup, people sponsored making outfits for me, people sponsored my travel, people sponsored food, like housing. Thousands of dollars were done completely for free after I finally bet on myself that someone would want to have my name associated with their brand. And so I hope you understand that you cannot build who you want to become until you build yourself. Number 3, talent accelerates, but structure sustains. Remember how I said I started Black Sis with zeal and vision and passion and desire for change and for Black women to not go through what I had to go through? Beautiful. However, that passion, that grit, that scrappiness means nothing when you don't have or you don't become someone who learns how to implement structure. SOPs, calendar invites, automated communications. Yeah, that's how you really build business. That's how you really grow a business. That's how you really grow your career. There are mentees who have come back to me, multiple mentees, and it's the same feedback every time. Oh, Yamiche, every time you are so focused on us being detailed about that calendar invite, about us being detailed about that email, about sending notes after a meeting. And I used to not really understand why you were being so laser focused on something that seemed so minimal. In my internship, in my job, that's what they celebrate me for because no one else does it. And I tell you, after working with many a people across many a countries, I think the real 1% are the people who know how to be detailed consistently, because I have rarely ever seen it. So if you want to be successful, you want to stand out, it's not what you wear or what you do, or not what you wear or what you do one day. It's the little things. How are your emails? How are your calendar invites? Do you have system and structures for communications? Are you someone who people know they can always rely on you for information and that you're going to get them to where they need to go consistently? Even with this masterclass, you have received at least 4 to 5 communications, I believe. And that's because my team knows that I don't play when it comes to communications. Imagine you signed up for this and you didn't get no email. You didn't get a follow up. You got no confirmation. How would you even know this really happening? Even the description on the event, it allows you to know what's happening. So if you want to join, you can. If you don't want to join, you don't have to. And if you didn't know if you want to join, I'm now telling you what we're going to be doing. Structure, structure, structure. Now to the next one. Association breeds assimilation. Language habit standards are contagious. You know how when people have a flu or like red eyes and all those things, we're like, oh, they're contagious. We can't be near them. I need you to bring that principle to your friend group. If someone in your friend group is a gossiper, that says a lot about you. If someone in your friend group you know is actively scamming or stealing, that says a lot about you. Because who you choose to be around, right? You can't choose your family, but you can still choose to how close and how much access you give to them. It's going to breed assimilation, whether you like it or not. And for all my women here, we know once you start hanging out with certain girls, all of a sudden your periods sync up. Literally, even biologically, who you hang around affects your physical body with you doing nothing about it. And every woman who's on this call knows that sync up effect. We don't think about it. We're all just like, how are we all on our period at the same time? And so if you think that's just happening with your period, what else do you think that's happening with? And for those of you who don't have anyone, and you're like, oh, that's good. I'm happy I don't have a circle. No, you are problematic too. Because the future you, the future success you want, there's people who are operating there. You need to understand how to build a life with people who are going where you're going, who are encouraging you to get there. And so it doesn't mean everyone in your group has to be rich or wealthy. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying a value system. There are people in my life who I'm older than, and they have less money than me. They're college students. They're living a very, broke life right now. But I'm not thinking about them as like, oh, they don't have any money. They're not useful to my life. No. When I see them, I see people who encourage me. I see people who have an expectation of me. And so it inspires me to continue to move in the way I'm moving because I know they're watching. And so their encouragement and their words of affirmation and their celebration of me actually makes me continue to do what I know I'm supposed to do. It actually keeps me on the straight and narrow. And so be careful of the values of the people around you. Next, your desires resist discipline. Yes, I know you want cake, you want fast food, you want whatever, a churro, whatever it is. You have to just keep in mind that your desires resist discipline. And so it's more important to stick to the plan than to stick to how you feel in the moment. And this is not to say desires are wicked or bad, but studies have shown scientifically Almost every religion in the world says this, that delayed gratification always yields fruit. You're likely going to desire instant gratification. Fast food is instant gratification. Unhealthy food, sugars, instant gratification. Making a salad takes a little bit more time. Making healthy meals, buying healthy groceries takes time versus skipping all of that and just going into the drive-through line at Burger King. But that delayed gratification is going to yield results. Next, shame is a multiplier. Shame is a multiplier. Shame is a multiplier. And this is from the scripture Isaiah 61, verse 7. Instead of your shame, there shall be a double portion. Many of you don't realize that everything that you are ashamed about is likely going to be a part of your legacy and likely going to be a part of how you change the world. Most people, they try to hide and disregard their shame. But the people who are able to take their shame and actually start to ask questions and start to look into it, whether they have a cure for it or not, a lot of times they build systems and structures that really bless a lot of people. There had to be someone who said, there should be a group for those who are trying to get off of addictions, drug addictions, alcohol addictions. Okay, let's make a whole company out of it. There's someone who said, when I was suicidal, I wish I had a hotline that I could call that maybe would have helped me walk out of it instead of just having to do it by myself. That's how suicide hotlines came about. Your shame does not have to just end with you. And when you allow it to not end with you, it actually multiplies your life. It multiplies your influence. It multiplies your legacy. It multiplies your ability to be regarded. All of these hospitals and places that are focusing on cancer prevention, a lot of them, even a lot of doctors, so many doctors have situations like my brother, who they had a negative health experience or their loved one had a negative health experience. And they literally became doctors because of that negativity, that shame. And now they're able to help save lives. Black Sisters in STEM was built off of my shame. If you don't know, I dropped out of my STEM major, like almost 50% of Black women do. I dropped out. That is quote unquote shameful. I left that major. I went to go study something that seemed like it was more suited to me as a woman. And I could have lived my whole life with shame. Instead of that, I'm now running a multi-million-dollar nonprofit, and I've changed tens of thousands of lives. And so now it's not even shameful. It is not even shameful. It's actually a flex for me now. I use that in my pitches. And so let your shame be a multiplier. Self-discovery is the greatest discovery. You can't steward what you haven't studied. When it comes to your life, you are the most important topic, and that is not prideful. That is not selfish. It's real. Stop trying to study your boyfriend. Stop trying to study your friends. Stop trying to study um, a industry or a discipline alone, and forgo studying yourself. One time, my friend asked me, "What do you like for self-care?" And I really could not give her an answer because I did not know, because I never asked myself that question. And because I was clearly not practicing self-care. It was that question from my friend, but someone outside of myself, that made me realize I don't even know what I actually enjoy for self-care. And that put me on the journey of understanding what calms me down, what gives me joy, what do I like? And if you are my friend, or if you ever talk to my friends, you'll know I tell them exactly what I want because I know myself. Hey, for my birthday is a big deal. I need y'all to show up like this. Here's the template, run with it. I'm not micromanaging them, but I have a standard, I have boundaries. In romantic relationships, if you don't meet XYZ, I now have a list, and not a list of things I want in a man, a list of things I will not negotiate on with a man. So now I don't have to waste my time. A lot of you guys waste your time doing things that you don't enjoy, being with people that aren't good for you, living a life less than what God has called you to, because you don't even know what you like. You have never even questioned, what are my talents and my gifts? What are the things that I care about in this world? What do I want to see change? At my funeral, what do I want them to say about me? So many of you are like, oh, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? But even before your purpose, just start asking these simple questions, and you'll see your purpose through pattern recognition. You'll likely see your purpose. I was always someone who was super, super interested in the matters of women. All the questions I would ask myself, it was like, what really pushed me was women and the life of women, and the economic success of women, and the social life of women. I cared about women. It was throughout the questions I asked myself. And so me running Black Sisters in STEM, or me being someone who's influential, especially to women, is not surprising. It's in my heart. Next, multiplication is in the breaking, not in the blessing. Many of you guys know of the story, and if you don't know, there is a story in the Bible of a young boy who had a couple pieces of bread and some fish. And as the story recounts, there were so many people who were hungry, and he was the only one with food, a little boy. And he gave that food away to the disciples, and the disciples gave it to Jesus, and Jesus blessed it and broke it. And when he broke it, after thanking God for multiplication, they were able to feed the thousands of women, men, and children who were there. And that narrative goes to show us that the greatest things you'll learn in life are not likely when you're on a yacht or when you're on a beach. Not that you can't learn there, because you can. But again, in those painful, shameful moments, learn to be someone who starts interrogating the moment, because you'll learn a lot about yourself. There's things that I've been through that I didn't know how strong I was till I went through it. There's things that I've seen and I've acted in a way that was very good to me, that made me know that I don't have to react to everyone, even when they do something that I don't like. I learned the most in the situations that troubled me the most. I became better through the situations that brought a lot of breaking to my day-to-day life and my routine. Next, to change your subconscious, change what you say. Words frame reality. If you were here from the beginning, I talked a lot about repetition, and that many of us don't know, but we actually live out our lives through our subconscious mind. And this is proven scientifically. And so many of you are like, okay, well, what's in my subconscious mind? Yeah, it's stored memories from literally your childhood, from things that you may not even fully remember just by using your conscious mind, but has been kept in your body, especially if you have been through trauma. When they say trauma lives in the body, they're talking about trauma living in your subconscious. And trauma living in your subconscious that affects your entire body. So, for example, those of you, when you get a compliment, you're like, oh no, I don't even look that nice today. Why do you always deflect compliments? When someone says you're a star, you're like, oh no, I'm not a star, I'm just regular. Why do you automatically, you don't even think about it, you just start saying things like that? When you have a presentation, you have something to do, you automatically think about all the ways you're going to fail and why you're going to stutter and how you're not going to do the presentation well. Why are those your automatic thoughts? Your subconscious mind. And so to change those things, you have to really start changing what you believe, and you have to do that consciously. And so again, the declarations, the affirmations, they're not just like, oh, things that TikTokers or influencers do. No, they're literally critical to reshaping and reframing your perspective. Access determines opportunity. Distance delays destiny. If you knew Bill Gates today and he was your friend, he was your mentor, I can guarantee you your life would look very different. That's an extreme example, or actually not that extreme, because Bill Gates is a human being. He's accessible. I want you to now understand that works with everything. So if you're trying to become a doctor, make some friends in med school. Make some friends with people who are already doctors. Get some mentors, because it's going to help you get closer to where you want to be. Next, compound interest is the cheat code to life. It works in habits, in money, relationships, and faith. Compound interest. Listen, I need you to understand the power of something compounding. You working out once a week for 20 hours, which is literally unlikely and unsustainable, it's not as powerful as you working out 30 minutes every day. You reading a book 30 minutes every single day is more powerful than at the end of the month trying to crunch in a book because you had goals to read. You investing money at every single paycheck is more powerful than you stalking the stock market and trying to figure out how to catch every good deal one day of the year. I started investing specifically in the stock market when I started learning about the stock market in college. And literally, the stocks that I have invested in, specifically PayPal, I remember at the time, PayPal was, I believe, um, $30 per stock. And I had an internship where I had to pick a stock and do a presentation on how I think it's going to grow and why everyone should invest in it. And so that was literally no, it wasn't even $30. It was like excuse me, it was like $10. And I was like, it's gonna go up, it's gonna go up. I did a whole presentation, did a whole pitch on it. I invested, what I thought was a that stock is now 4 times that. PayPal is now at $40 per stock. And so what I thought was big money back then has grown 4x, and I haven't done anything with it. I just allowed compound interest to favor me. So a lot of you guys are always looking for like a miracle. You can't live life everyday miracles. And I hope miracles happen to you every day. That's not what I'm saying. But your life isn't governed by miracles. You actually have structure and strategy. And one of the clearest and most effective strategies is to really do things in a way that compounds. So like I told you before, I have a daily list of to-dos, like reading a certain amount of a book every single day. And so by God's grace, I've already read 5 books this year. It is February 13th. How many books have you read this year? And I'm not doing anything crazy. I just have a set amount of time to read every single day. And that has led me to 5 books by February 13th, 2026. And I'm talking about just this year. I'm not talking about total. So a lot of your goals could be met if you would just allow yourself to make daily habits that compound instead of trying to read 5 books in 1 month at the last week of the month. It's stressful. It's not even fun. You don't even gain enough from all of that. You can't even write your notes well. Same thing with relationships. Relationships are meant to get better over time. The more you invest in people, you're going to see that compound. I remember today, the first person to message me was my nephew. And I'm now seeing compound interest on his life. All of the stress that he has put me through. I call him my son because I swear he thinks I'm his mom or something. But he sent me this long, beautiful message at 12 a.m. on the dot. And if you know anything about men and anything about my nephew, he is not writing no messages, definitely not long ones. And so for me to get that, I'm seeing the compound interest of our relationship. Next, being single is the real hashtag goals. And before I explain this, I want to make sure I clearly share that biblically, Singleness is not the same thing as being unmarried. In our culture today, we have made when we call your state of being unmarried your single years. But biblically, that is not what single means. Single is to be one. Single is to be integral. The Bible describes God as a single being, as a one being with three parts, but one being. That he's integral. He does what he says. He stands by his word. There's never a time you have to figure out if God is going to leave or forsake you, because he's too integral to do that. And so for those of us who are not yet married, and for those of us who are married, learn the power of being single even while you're married. Single being integral, being all in one. You do not need people to make you happy. You do not need circumstances to make you happy. You are someone who is consistent, reliable, a character and a value system that is seen throughout your life. You are someone who's faithful. And for those of you who are unmarried, learn to be single now. My pastor always says this. Most of the stuff that he does in marriage counseling is because people are just not being the Christians they say they are. It's character issues. You said you were going to do something, you didn't do it. You said you were going to go somewhere, you didn't go there. You said you had this amount of money, you didn't have this amount of money. Like, these things are showcasing that you're not single right now. You're not someone who's trustworthy. You're not someone who's integral. You're not someone who's faithful. And if you want to be married, if you want to be in committed relationships, outside of just a romantic relationship, you need to learn the power of being someone who's reliable and consistent. If you know me, then you know who I am. And if people can't say that about you, you need to check some things. Because I'm not different with my friends and with my family in terms of character. I'm literally who I am. And by God's grace, every day working to be fully integral as much as possible. You can't out-earn ignorance. Income grows only as fast as your understanding. A lot of you, those of you who joined today, you're doing yourself a favor, because you can't out-earn ignorance. This is why you need to be reading. This is why literally all the great people, they read. They read, they take in a lot of information, especially about their field. For those of you from Black Sisters in STEM, listen, AI is taking over, has already taken over, and it's here to stay. If you are not learning about AI, I don't care if you're a data analyst, I don't care if you're a software engineer, I don't care if you're in finance, it doesn't matter what you're in. You are going to be impacted by AI. If you are not learning about AI, you are going to see your revenue, your income, your ability to make money decrease. I'm just letting you know. AI is not just a hot topic, it's literally being embedded in everything. And even in those industries, my sister's a lawyer, and I always keep telling her, girl, I know the law system seems like it's not using AI right now. But I'm telling you, there's no way that the world is all going to be using AI in healthcare, in music, in finance, in all these areas, and it's not going to affect the law. It's going to come some way. So even if you are in fields that are not as receptive to AI, that actually makes you stand out, because when they do hit that junction of them having to get into AI, you're going to have knowledge, and thus your value is going to be higher. You know who you are by what you attract. Patterns don't lie. When my therapist told me this, I was literally, kind of in awe, because it made me reflect on, like, why are these certain people attracted to me? For example, I attract a lot of younger women, and they always want to be near me, around me. They want me to be their mentor, and that's because of my heart for women, for their success, for them not repeating my mistakes. So it makes sense. I attract friends who understand the power of friendship. I attract people who are very giving. I have a very generous group of friends. And that's because that's who I am. And the moment I see that you're not that person, literally, I just fall back slowly because I know it's not going to work. So even if you found your way in, you're going to have to find your way out because who you are is what you attract and what you sustain. Purpose is always in reach. Work isn't to get things, it's to manifest what's already been done in you. I think we were talking about purpose before. Not I think, I know we were talking about purpose before. And honestly, purpose is not a big ordeal. It's not a destination per se. It is simply what you are called to do. And if you are questioning your purpose, let me give you 3 questions that will help you. Number 1, what is the problem that you want to see change in the world that you want to work on? And the first thing that comes to your head, note that down. I don't want you to write a 10-year long list. Mine was injustice, especially against women. That was literally what I wrote down. Number 2, who is the target market in that problem? For me, it was women. Number 3, what gift, what skill, what talent do you have that could aid in solving this problem? For me, it was my experiences. It was getting all these jobs and internships and scholarships. It was my ability to teach. I'm a natural teacher. I love public speaking. And so if you look at Black Sisters in STEM, you see a lot of those things. So write down those questions and answer them. The next thing, relationships are cultivated, not gifted. Mutual effort is the currency. This is a big one for me, and this should be big for you. Please don't be that friend who doesn't know how to say happy birthday, who doesn't know how to celebrate. You're actually not a friend. Please do not be the person who doesn't know how to return energy, match energy, as I would like to say. If someone buys you a birthday gift, even if you don't have the money to buy them a birthday gift, figure out birthday gifts that are free, okay? Whether it's writing them a letter, whether it's making a song, whether it's writing them a poem, whether it's, for my mom when we were kids and we obviously didn't have money, but we had school supplies. So we used to make flowers out of construction paper for my mom. We used to make like flower petals. We would draw them and then we would cut them out and we would place them on the floor, just as if she had a real thing of roses on the ground when she walked out of her bedroom on her birthday. And I can guarantee you, those fake construction paper flowers that could have even cut her if she stepped on them incorrectly probably mean more to my mom than all the flowers we've gotten her now that we have the ability to buy her real flowers. Because it took hours making those construction paper flowers, okay? It was not easy. You had to first create all this the sketches, then you had to take the scissors, go round by round by round to make it look like a flower. Listen, those things took time. We used to take like 1 hour, 2 hours to cut those things out. Then we have to place them, and you have to do enough where it looks good, so it's like a lot. And so I'm sure if you ask my mom today, like, that memory is more salient than the flowers we've gotten her. We've gotten her so much flowers, but she probably remembers that point more. So be someone who cultivates your relationships. Decisions have consequences, so make them slowly. Be quick to do the right thing and slow to do things that are questionable to you. Every decision has a consequence. And a consequence doesn't mean it's negative. A consequence just means the repercussions of something. So if you, like I said, invest every paycheck, there's a consequence. You're building your wealth steadily. If you don't invest at all and wait until you have this large amount of money that you're waiting for, you're going to have less wealth built up than the person your age who has been investing every single paycheck. The decision to watch something that's going to teach you, read a book versus going on Netflix, has consequences. And so, if you're anything like me, I try to force myself into good decisions. I have put water all around my place so that everywhere I go, instead of, saying, "Oh, I'm not going to drink anything, I'll be fine." I have water accessible to me everywhere. So now I can drink more water because it's more accessible. At first, I realized I just wasn't drinking water because I didn't want to go all the way to the refrigerator, get the water, come back. Like, I have so many things to do. I was like, that's a lot. So I made it easy for me to drink water all the time. I made it easy for me to stop eating bad processed foods. I don't buy them. So even when I want some chips, some pickle chips, some whatever, I don't have it in my place. So I cannot eat it. And if you notice, like, after that initial desire, after you can't really satisfy it for a little bit, typically just goes away. So it's not like I'm hungry for chips every day. It was just that one moment. But since I don't have them, I just moved on to the healthy snacks I do have. Next, your standards should be so loud, people adjust how they treat you. Listen, if you come around me, if you meet me, if you know me, my standards are very loud, extremely loud. You can't say you didn't know. So it's either you show up and you be a part of my life based off of my boundaries and my standards, or you don't. And either is fine. But just know I communicated them. Your environment sets your ceiling. This again goes back to the proximity. So this is why it's important to be in multiple types of environments. I always get excited when I'm introduced into a new environment and to a new set of people and to a greater people than I am. So older people, people who have more success or more wisdom and have gone through the stages of life I haven't yet been through. I'm excited when I get to be in their environment and they get to be in mine, because now I know, oh, if I have a question about what it feels like to be married, what it feels like to be pregnant, to give birth, what it feels like, what should I be aware of, what should I know? Like, would you have people around you who are moms 4 times over, like even one time, it allows you to have understanding that you don't have to get on your own. You just ask. Shout out to my mama, Mama Denise in the chat. Literally, there are things that I can just ask her for because she's been through the phases of life that I have not been through. And that is a major hack. It's a major life hack. Major life hack. And stop trying to be a TikTok warrior and a YouTube Shorts warrior and a Chat GPT warrior trying to ask the internet for all the things. The internet does not always give you the answers that real life would give you. And so learn to have a diverse group of people for the life that God has called you to, especially women. Women go through so many seasons of life, and they're all very different. Um, and it is important that you have people around you who could help you through those seasons, because not just because they want to help you and they love you, but because they've been through it. Yes, shout out Mama Denise. And so the next one is proximity shapes identity. We spoke about this earlier. There are people who have allowed me to know that I could become something. When I first got to University of Virginia, I didn't realize that I couldn't be in STEM. It was how people started treating me that made me think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be in STEM, because like everyone's acting like it's very weird for me to be here. So maybe it is weird and I'm not supposed to be here. And so once my location changed and those around me started treating me in a certain way because I was in STEM as a Black woman, my proximity to them actually influenced my understanding and perception, even though it wasn't the truth. So instead of me being around people who encouraged me, uplifted me, and let me know, like, you can do this, that happened a bit later on at my time at school. I was around people who were constantly questioning what was in STEM. And that made me question my identity. So be very careful. Life begins at decisions, not intentions, right? And so as much as we can hear people out of their intention, the decisions they took should speak louder. The decisions you take should speak louder. If I looked at your day-to-day life and schedule, would I see a reflection of your intentions? So if you're trying to be healthier this year, if I looked at your day-to-day schedule and actions and decisions, would I see a reflection of that intention? If not, your intentions really are not in the equation at this point. Let's work on that. Being love beautifies you. And I really want to spend a little bit of time on this one, especially for my girls. I want you to understand that friendships, romantic relationships, family relationships really matter so deeply. And obviously, don't stay in a toxic situation. But when you are loved well, it shows up. It shows up. It shows up in your life. It shows up on your face. It shows up on how you walk. People say I walk with so much confidence and boldness. And I'm like, really? That's surprising to me. I don't know. I feel like I just walk. But it's because I've been so loved to believe in myself, so loved to be confident in myself over time, from God, from my family, from my friends, that like for me, not being confident when I walk in a room is like, I don't really think about that. And so understand how powerful love is. And please double down on the people who love you and love you well. Life operates on the principle of exchange. Value given determines value received. This happens in your career, in every part of your life. If you are healthy, it's because you constantly exchange your money and your time for healthy habits, such as going to the gym, such as eating good things. Life operates on exchange. What are you exchanging? Your time, your money, your talent, your energy, your heart, your emotions, your wisdom, what are you exchanging it for? Some of you are exchanging it to people who don't even care. And that's why you're receiving that level of value. Not because you're not valuable, but because you're giving it to someone who doesn't see the value in it. This is why we say do not give your pearls to swine, because a pig doesn't care about pearls. Your logic resists faith. And I want this to be here because faith is not necessarily a religious concept. I want us to understand that faith does not necessarily mean you are a Muslim or you are a Christian or whatever. Faith is about belief. It's your belief in a person, an outcome, etc., etc. I shared this example when I was speaking to the universities on the tour. You coming here and listening to me, you have faith in me. You're showcasing faith in me. You're showcasing faith in me. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening for an hour if you did not think I would give you something valuable. And so you have to understand that you live by faith every single day. The question is, what is your faith in? And are you rationalizing things that you shouldn't? When anger rises, intellect falls. I have learned to become a very calm person over my 20s. I would say in the beginning of my 20s, I was very like, I wasn't angry, but like if you did something wrong to me, I would let you know, and I would let you know with anger. And I would say all my feelings, I would send it to you in a text so you know, or I would tell you to your face so you know. And when anger rises, intellect really falls. You're not your best self when you're angry. You're not your smartest self. You're not your most efficient self. Um, and studies have shown that even when you produce ideas out of anger, they don't sustain as much as ideas produced out of joy. And so it's very important for you to understand that it's not bad. It's not a negative thing to be angry. Everyone gets angry. But also make sure that you have a way to not just stay there, to not constantly remain there. You get the life you settle for. Audacity is a financial career strategy. You have the life right now you settled for. And so I want you to understand that. You have the life that you have settled for. You have the life that you have settled for. Simple, 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 simple. So stop settling in every area of your life. Ask for more, push for more, request for more, expect more. That's how you get more. Life develops like photography from the negatives. Your lowest moment will birth your greatest moments. There cannot be proper reception in ignorance. Study to show yourselves approved. Study to make sure that you understand and you can live out things. Study to showcase where you want to go. Joy isn't an emotion, it's a state of mind. I want you to not be someone who constantly allows events and happenings to determine your joy. Joy is where you have set your mind to be, your life to end up, your family to be, irregardless of what you see happening in the moment. Clarity removes the need to compete. This is a big one. When you know your purpose and when you know what God has called you to, when you are moving in purpose, you're rarely in competition. It's people who are not moving in purpose who typically compete. If there's anyone who I've seen be jealous of my life and my successes and my accomplishments, it's people who don't have anything going on. They don't have clarity on their life. They don't have clarity on their gifts. They don't have clarity on how they're supposed to bring value to the world. And the truth is, everyone has the ability to bring value to the world. So if you are not bringing value to the world, it's a lack of clarity, not a lack of capacity, not a lack of ability. So if you see yourself jealous often, get some clarity. Failure is meant to be a roadmap to growth. Let's switch how we see failure from a place of just disappointment to a roadmap to growth. What did you do incorrect this time? How can you change that? What people do you need to make this project or this goal happen? What people did you not have the last time? Interrogate your low moments. If you have not learned anything here, interrogate your low moments. Your perspective is your reality, but it's not the reality. I'll read that again. Your perspective is your reality, but it's not the reality. So this is why you have to understand your perspective on everything is going to determine how you see it and how it impacts you. For example, some people say the cup is half empty, and then we also heard, or you could see it as the cup is half full. Or you could see that you have a cup in the first place. Or you could see that you have a cup that has some water in it in the second place, because there's people who don't have that. And so when you lack gratitude, a lot of time your perspective is skewed. When you think that, everything's a problem, everyone's a problem, a lot of times you're not taking in the perspective of all the things they have done and all the things they did do for you. So that is why even the friendships that I no longer have, I'm so grateful, because at a point in time, they were able to serve me in that way. So it's all good. And that was the last lesson. But this is something that I truly want to end on. It's something that I learned through Dr. Anita Phillips, amazing woman, psychologist, researcher. She's phenomenal. And her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. And she talked about the seedling versus the neuron. And we all know a seed is what is planted into the ground and what reaps fruit according to its kind. So an apple seed makes apple trees, mango seed is going to give you a mango. Tomato seed is going to reap tomatoes as long as you grow it effectively. And she connected how the seed, the image of the seed, and the image of a neuron, which if you don't know, these are what come together to create your thoughts, almost look identical, which showcases the power of your thoughts and the power of having faith. Because if you have faith in positive outcomes, you'll see that you start to wire your brain that everything is going to go well, that everything is going to exceed your expectations. That's where I'm at now. I don't even want things to just go well. I'm expecting things to exceed my expectations at all times. That is where I'm at. And that's where I'm constantly putting my brain to and confessing and expecting. And so understand that just as a seed put in the ground is going to grow of what it is, thoughts you have, whether positive or negative, are going to bear fruit in your life of positive or negative outcomes. And it's very critical that you start seeing your life and yourself and your thoughts, you start processing them in a way that would lead to you seeing and becoming more. And I always like to end on Philippians 4:8, which is a perfect connection to that seedling versus a neuron. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things of our good report are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. Think on these things. Think on these things. You'll see how much your life changes when you start thinking on the goodness in your life, on the goodness you want to see in your life, on imagining the future you want to have, the children, the husband, the wife, the cars, the homes. Like, desire is powerful. And desire is cultivated through imagination, and imagination is cultivated through your thoughts and your mind. So now for the giveaway. Since you have been here and you've spent this whole hour and some change with me, if you want to have one-on-one coaching with me and enter this giveaway, your goal is today. All other reflections will not be accepted in the giveaway. It has to be posted today. Share your key takeaways from the masterclass on LinkedIn, not Instagram, not WhatsApp, not your family chat, on LinkedIn. Tag me and make sure to commit to at least 3 new habits that you learned from this masterclass publicly, so that we can all know that you've committed to reading more, doing more, becoming more, and it's sealed in your public review. And thank you. I'm so happy that you guys enjoyed this. And so I thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for celebrating me. So many of you, all the messages, all the birthday wishes, I receive it. I am so grateful. And I trust that God has also heard them all. And I know this is going to be the best decade of my life thus far. And so I'm excited to have you all with me. So I hope you have a great, blessed day. And don't forget to be a part of the giveaway, because that is going to be a good time. And I'm going to select the post that I thought was the most thoughtful and the most well done. So it would be good for you to really take your time and think about it in like 30 minutes and then post today. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye.